Roblox Redliner just released, and it already has a lot of pros. I'd say this game is very easy to learn after a while, but for new beginners it can definitely be tough. Which is why, in this video, I've tried my best to give you the best tips and tricks to become good at Roblox Redliner. We'll be going through movement, general tips, guns, sword, and everything in between. So without further ado, let's get into the video. Before we get into the tips, let me give a general explanation of everything that's in Roblox Redliner. The controls are melee, left mouse button, Q to fire your gun, F to parry, which you can parry bullets and or another katana causing a clash. You can do grapple with the right mouse button, you can dash up to 3 times in a row with shift, you can slide with control, hold space against a wall to run against it, and all keybinds are changeable in the settings. Also, you have an instability bar at the top. Once this fills up, you'll become destabilized for a few seconds, meaning you can't attack in these 4 seconds. But you can still grapple and dash in these seconds. So if you get destabilized, I recommend running away and keeping your distance, but to keep your movement speed in case they try to shoot you with their gun. Anyways, now let's get into the tips for movement. The 2 most important elements to your movement are going to be grappling and b-hopping. Grappling is what allows you to build up your movement. You should probably do this at the start of a match or in the middle when you lose momentum. And b-hopping will allow you to keep that momentum and speed, even when you're not grappling. How b-hopping works is when holding space and moving around, it allows you to retain your movement and not lose any movement. This is very important because how you win clashes is by being faster than the other person. And losing clashes will build up your instability bar, causing you to get destabilized more often. Now, wall running may seem like a useless feature, but it's actually pretty helpful for avoiding enemies. If they're on the ground, you can jump onto a wall and avoid running into them. And you don't lose any of your speed while wall running, so it's actually pretty useful. Because when you normally run, without b-hopping, you would lose all your momentum. But while wall running, you keep all your momentum, even though you're not b-hopping, which is pretty useful. Sliding can also be useful for keeping your speed and not losing any momentum. Dashing is best used for parkour, avoiding or getting to enemies by hopping between buildings. You can dash up to 3 times in a row to get from place to place, and you can also avoid attacks easily with this, especially if you see the gun glint early. Combining all of these tips can make you a formidable opponent and make you win almost every clash you do. But, even if you were the best movement player in Roblox Redliner, all of this would still be useless if you didn't know how to do combat well, which is why that's what we'll go over next. Your main weapon in Roblox Redliner is your katana, but after enough slashes, you can build up your gun bar, which allows you to use your Wait, what? Which allows you to use your gun by clicking Q. There are 4 types of guns currently available in the game, and I'm assuming more melee weapons will be available in the future. But all of these guns are very versatile and can be used in their own ways. But first, let's go over some tips for using your katana. Your katana will be the main weapon you use in all of your games. Your gun is sort of like a one-time use after you charge up your bar, kind of like an ultimate in fighting games. So, knowing how to use your katana is how you can improve at the game the most. One tip I can give is to not spam your katana around like this. Instead, time your slashes. This will help you a lot, as timing your slashes can be easier to win clashes, instead of just spamming, which will mostly have you get hit instead of clashing with your opponent. One of the most common ways to clash with your opponent is moving back and forth with your grappling hook and b-hop, like this. This will constantly have you clashing, building up your instability bar but also building up your gun bar. As long as you're moving faster than your opponent, you'll likely win this clash and get them destabilized, which will also be the perfect time for you to use your gun, because your gun meter will also likely be full by this time. You'll also likely get some good hits in during this time, and even if you don't destabilize your opponent and they run away, it's okay because you still have your gun and can shoot them while they're running away. With the normal gun, which is what you start with, you'll get some good damage in though, around 60. And don't feel too bad if you miss your shot. It's actually pretty hard to aim, but you'll get the hang of it soon enough. I also missed a lot of my shots when I first started playing. For this next part, I tried to use the Redliner wiki to get the exact stats, but it kept bringing me to this random gambling website, so I'm sorry if I get some information wrong. The first gun I'm going to talk about is the Castigate. The Castigate is the default gun everyone starts with in Roblox Redliner. It has 3 bullets, being able to be in its chamber at once, takes 1.5 seconds to aim before firing, and deals 60 damage on contact. This gun is best used in many situations and can be very versatile. For example, you can use this gun when your opponent is destabilized and running away to deal damage while they're helpless, or while your opponent is charging towards you and unable to change direction. Some tips for aiming this gun are to aim yourself onto a wall and bunny hop backwards so that you're more stable while aiming, or to aim while you're in the air or while your opponent's coming towards you so you ensure that you miss way less. Another time to use this gun is when your opponent's destabilized. Since they can attack you, even if you miss, the consequences aren't that big and you can just slash them a few times to get your gun back. Now, here are some few general tips. Tip number 1. The Castigate deals 60 damage, meaning if you already dealt more than 60 damage to your opponent with your katana, you can one-shot them. Tip number 2. This gun is very easy to use when your opponent is heading straight towards you. Since it barely takes any time to aim, if your opponent is really close to you or heading towards you, you can use your gun and they'll barely have enough time to react before you shoot them. Tip number 3. This gun is easily parryable, so try to use your gun up close or when your opponent isn't paying attention or disarmed. If you have 3 bullets in your chamber, you can also unload them one after the other in rapid succession one-shotting your opponent, but this is kind of hard to do since they're constantly moving. Here are some tips for going up against the Castigate. First of all, the bullet isn't that big, so almost every time if you're moving fast enough and far away enough from your opponent, you'll dodge the bullet. Second of all, this is the easiest parryable gun in the game. Just parry when you see the glint, and almost every time you'll parry the bullet and not take any damage. The next gun I'm going to talk about is the Phoenix. The Phoenix is the second cheapest gun in the game, costing 450,000 yen. It only has 1 bullet in its chamber, takes about 1 second to load, and is an explosive shotgun. Once you shoot the bullet, it will explode on your enemy, dealing 70 damage to them. The Phoenix can also be used to blast yourself up or backwards. The Phoenix is a very close-ranged weapon. Using it from far away will usually cause you to miss, since the bullet is not that fast and it's explosive. It will usually miss if your opponent's in the air, and if they're on the ground, unless you're close, they'll usually dodge it. Some tips with this gun. Use this in close range when you're close to your enemy, and instead of aiming at them, aim at their feet so that it hits the ground and explodes instead of traveling past them. Another tip for this gun is to use it while you're in the air, or on the ground, but not while your opponent's in the air. If your opponent's in the air, it's almost impossible to hit them, and if they're moving, it's even harder. If your opponent's moving towards a wall, try to shoot your gun at the wall so when they hit it, it'll explode on them. Here are some tips for going up against this gun. If you hear your opponent about to fire, which is when it makes this noise, you should almost always grapple up into the air so that their bullet misses. If you're on the ground, it has a higher chance of exploding near you. The next gun we're going to talk about is the Siege. The Siege is a double-barrel shotgun. It's the second most expensive gun in the game, costing 2 million yen, and it has 2 bullets in its chamber. It takes 2 seconds to load up before firing the first bullet, then 1 second before firing the second bullet. The first bullet deals 50 damage, and the second bullet deals 40 damage on the opponent. So, this gun is very versatile in that way. You could land the first bullet and miss the second bullet. So, some tips for this are to use it very close range. Don't worry if you miss the first one, since there's always going to be a second bullet that's going to automatically fire after 1 second. As for going up against this gun, always remember to parry twice if you're trying to parry, since there are 2 bullets instead of 1. And finally, the Monarch, the most expensive weapon in the game, costing 8 million yen. Its style is like a sniper, and it deals 140 damage on your opponent. Almost one shot. If you even have 1 katana slash on them before you fire at them with this gun, they will immediately get one-shotted and die. This gun also has massive recoil, launching you backwards. The Monarch takes about 2 seconds to load up and has 1 bullet in its chamber. Here are some general tips. Don't use this gun in the air unless your opponent is right below you or you know where your opponent's going and you definitely think you're going to hit them. Tip number 2. The best time to use this gun is when your opponent's destabilized, heading towards you, or you're bumping yourself against the wall bunny hopping. Third tip with this gun. If you aim your gun, scope in, and suddenly can't find your opponent, aim your gun where you don't want to go so that you launch yourself backwards. Then quickly use your grapple so that you keep all your built up speed. For going up against the sniper, don't parry immediately after you see the glint, as it takes 2 seconds to aim. You always want to parry a bit after you see the glint so that you account for the time that the player is aiming and scoping in. And also, it's always better to try and dodge this gun. Since the bullet's so precise, you'll almost every time be able to easily dodge if you're running in unpredictable patterns. Combining all of these tips can definitely make you better at Roblox Redliner. But I'm not that good myself. For more tips, I'd recommend checking out on YouTube for more tutorials. But this is all I can help you with. Hopefully this helps you even a bit. If any of this helped you, leave a note in the comments. Also, other pros, feel free to leave tips too. Or correct me. Thanks. Have a nice day. And I hope you know a bit more about how to redline now.